All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball, episode 17. There's a reason I brought this now. We brought out the jerseys for the first time in a while, so
My jersey.
you just gotta put you on Poshmark, obviously.
Exactly.
So, we're kind of gonna weave our way in and out the way we do this because of something in a little later. But yeah, let's start open discussion. I think the most important thing to talk about, the biggest thing that we have to talk about right now is those Davante Adams trade rumors. So. I know you have a lot of thoughts to get into here, so I'll just let you go right into it.
Yeah, I know. I think I don't know. Like a couple of videos in the offseason that we mentioned. I think it's Joe's like Davante gonna request a trade or something like that.
Because
I don't know if we made
those
jokes
rumors
like
have always existed
Yeah.
ever since last
that. I think
season
about
with the struggle.
this season
Yeah,
specifically.
they've been around. I think I remember specifically too. I made a post on Instagram about that the Raiders were firm. I mean, the new GM Tom Telesco, he was firm right when he was hired. They had no interest in trading him, but obviously now.
With the whole
there's
QB situation, we obviously poke fun at it, but kind of realistic now. It's visual. Like he's already gonna be inactive for this Sunday's game, so he's not gonna be playing. And obviously, he's already showed interest. Obviously, it's two top teams right now. It's obviously the Jets and the Saints. He obviously wants to play with the QBs already played, Rodgers and Derek Carr. Obviously, Derek Carr, him and Carr go way back to I believe it was Fresno State, right?
Yeah.
Him and go way back to Fresno State. Rodgers and Green Bay, I think that was already established there. And there's already a couple teams. I think this morning he did show interest in a couple teams. Some of them include the Saints, the Steelers, Ravens, Bills, the Cowboys, obviously, and then I think Niners is also
Which I think
kind
that's
of there. Which
unrealistic.
I don't think
We're
the
gonna
Niners
talk
are
about
gonna
the
get
Niners,
him. Cowboys already said they have no interest just because of the money issue, the contract. Which we saw the numbers already. His contract his money is not the issue at all for the Cowboys, but. If they couldn't sign a running back for cheap in the market, doubt this is going to happen. But him saying he has interest for the Cowboys, doubt is going to open any ears for Jerry Jones. We already know how Jerry is and McCarthy is for this and that. But Jets and the Saints, those are probably the two most viable options for for Davante, just because he's played with those two QBs here. To me, probably going to be the Jets.
Honestly, I really do think the Jets have to. I mean, we know they're pressing right now. They know their window's short, so they really want to, maximize what they have right now. And I mean, the only argument I can say for the Saints is the Derek Carr connection. Like,
Exactly.
I think it makes sense. Obviously to pair him up with Olave, with Rashid Shaheed. That would be a very
pretty.
And which they had that they had a surprise start. Now it's kind of coming back down. This could infuse new life into the Saints team. So I really like the possibilities there. I just don't know if they'd be aggressive right now. I would love to see them be aggressive, but I'm just not sure. That's why, the Jets seem smartest. I know the Steelers, as aggressive they were for Ayuk in the offseason.
But it never happened because, Ayuk was being...
Yeah, but it wasn't on them. They were aggressive. So would they be aggressive with another top receiver? And obviously, in my opinion, way better than what they could have had with Ayuk. I mean, that's to be determined here. I would think they should, but the only thing is, does Davante really want to go there? We know there's...
I thought he was gonna go to the Steelers.
Well, because I mean, I think he would much rather be with a better quarterback. And no disrespect to Justin Fields, but I don't think that would be his preferred destination.
I think look, he already stated that he would much rather be with Rodgers or Carr. Obviously, the interest still shows, but he prefers it. I mean, there's a lot of dudes that can go into here. Garrett and Davante, Olave and Davante, CD and Davante. Debo and Davante, freaking like you said, Olave and Davante. Even
and the only other one too is, I mean, we know I think kind of going back to the Ayuk situation. The Browns are someone else that they're there. I don't think it would make sense for them right now, especially since there's
Cooper's situation
too. With Cooper. But I would say, if they're gonna be aggressive to get Davante, they're probably gonna keep Cooper. I mean, if Judy gets going, that probably opens it up more that you have that attention going to Davante.
That's really the big thing there.
And that takes us to that, which I don't really have too much to say about Watson right now because no one's helping him out. I want to see.
He's pretty chopped in the Raider game. Pretty much just the start of the season too. His defense has been giving a lot of opportunities, but again, the offense is specifically the one. It is a lot of chopped, but still not gonna excuse the fact himself had a lot of missed opportunities past couple games to obviously win the game there.
Yeah, I mean. I think one thing that I just didn't mention earlier, and this is something that we were just talking right now, just taking it right back to the Cowboys rumors. I mean, I know you want to see a big name. I know, and I think it's specifically because Brandon Cooks hasn't, lived up so far. And now he's hurt.
He's hurt with the knee infection on his right knee.
And I know you want another bigger name. The Cowboys always want that bigger name, but this thing, I just feel like you got to be focused on a running back right now.
And that's not gonna happen.
I know it's not gonna happen, but if you're not going to get a running back, why are you going to shoot for a receiver? I mean,
Dalvin Cook, he's just. I mean,
and I understand,
want
but you should
Dalvin
at
to get
least,
evaluated.
and that's the thing. Let him get evaluated. Like, I mean, let's see if we can shake something up in that run game. I mean, obviously,
Rico looked a little better against the Giants,
and that was one game, so we can't put too much. But give Rico another game. I mean, I would say
I want
get Zeke out of the mix.
They already said Zeke's gonna get less snaps coming.
And I would like to see that even less, and you bring in Dalvin Cook. But if Dalvin's not going to be the answer, I mean, there's still some viable running backs out on the free agent market.
Well, we're gonna see here because I think Ryan Flournoy, he's probably gonna get activated finally for the Steelers game. So we're gonna see how this game is, even looking at that against that Steelers defense with defensive backs, with guys like Joey Porter and I think it's Dante Jackson. I think it was Dante Jackson. Because I saw a report of him talking about Dak Prescott. I know it's Jackson, forgot his first, but with that core that the Steelers have there, if Flournoy gets going, I mean, like, he cooked the Raiders secondary in freaking preseason. They're starters. Jack Jones too for that touchdown. But if we can see some flashes there in that Steelers game, maybe the receiver for getting another receiver could be out of the mix there if Flournoy lives up to what everyone expected, because I think he could be the viable third, maybe the viable second we're looking for. But with the running back situation, Cook's not going to get evaluated this and that here. But
that's the thing that I would think, you should at least, get that mix. And you know what? And if shaking up the receiver room is anything that you really need, I would, full on agree with you. I think Flournoy is someone that really deserves that opportunity. I got a soft spot for him now that I got to take a picture when we went to Oxnard about a month or two ago.
It was August. It's like mid-August, right? Like 2 weeks.
Let's call it 2 months ago. Yeah. But we can. That obviously was the biggest piece of news. I think something I really want to get into is the Jaguars situation. Now, obviously, they got a really rough game against the Colts going into this week. 0-4. I'm expecting 0-5. Do you think 0-5 means Peterson's gone?
Honestly, it's a lot to say. I know a lot of people, they're going to agree with this. I think this early on in the season, they'll probably they'll probably still have him there.
But the only thing about
towards when we hit midseason, he's going to be gone.
But the thing with me is, like, if it's getting late early, and I know they're obviously probably, contention's probably out of the question for them, even in their own minds. But like, if it's getting this bad, you're seeing 0-5. I mean, I would hopefully at least expect a conversation to be had about that. If they get to 0-6, I say for sure he should be gone. But I think 0-5 should be enough. Especially depends how they look in this game. Like, if it gets to a point, then I think there's no question he's going to fight. If it's a blowout loss.
Especially without Anthony Richardson in the mix here, because I think he's still dealing with the hip injury. So
I'm pretty sure Flacco's going.
Yeah, so Flacco's going to take the lead here coming into this team. And, hopefully it's not a Flacco sanity where, happened last season there. But I think this game's probably going to be the bigger eye opener for this, to see if Doug Peterson's going to part ways with the Jacksonville Jaguars, because it's not looking good for the Jaguars team. I know a lot of them can go on Trevor, a lot of them can go on Doug Peterson, a lot of them can go on that defense, but nobody's living up to the expectations that they were having in the offseason. And it goes for a lot of things too.
And that's the only thing too. Like, I don't want to put it too much on Doug. That's why, I could also see your side, because, maybe you wait a little more. The only thing I think, the body language of the team is going to tell us a lot. But obviously, when we're looking at the Jaguars' lack of success, a big thing does fall on Trevor Lawrence. I remember I saw a stat that I think the Jaguars have two of the best receivers at getting separation, and he's still not getting.
Yeah, Ridley and Kirk.
Ridley's in Tennessee.
Oh, I forgot. He's in Tennessee.
I want to say Thomas. I don't remember Kirk who else.
Thomas?
I can't say who it was.
It is Thomas.
Y'all can fact check us on who the guys are, but I think they had two of the top receivers when it comes to separation. So you see that it's not on his receivers for not getting open. It's not like, schematically, at least on that side of the ball.
He's just not seeing his reads.
He's not seeing his reads.
He's not seeing his reads. He's probably forcing balls where he doesn't really need to be. And that shows a lot, because Christian Kirk, the main guy that pretty much reset the receiver market, he's doing what he could. He's living up to that contract for the most part, at least for the Jaguars team there. But schematically, I don't know what Doug Peterson's doing at all. It's not helping him at all. Sure, they come to close games, but they're not finishing, and that's the bigger issue.
And the only thing about him too, and it's a whole team-wide issue. But the thing that you look at is, you can say like, oh, we're only going to be 4 games in, 5 games in. Look into this. We also look into how they finished last season. They're 1-9 in the last 10 games. Exactly. So you take that into consideration. And if it's been the last 10 games you're looking that bad, a change is going to have to happen. And I'm pretty sure that's something that's going to come into consideration. But I don't know, anything else? I mean, what's going on around the league? Any storylines we got to get into for this week?
I know there's a couple, but like, I guess we could talk about the Ravens having them a little.
Yeah,
having them a little
I think we
comeback
disrespected them a little bit.
Yeah, they're having a little resurgence coming into there. They came into Jerry's world. They made a statement. They came into Sunday night against the Bills, and they just ran through that Bills team. Josh Allen really couldn't get anything done. They really proved it against a really great Bills team, and that's the team I'm high on this season. Really, really high on this season. And the Ravens, they show, the Bills, their rush defense is not perfect. And, after that really big carry by Derrick Henry, it was kind of going to be that game itself. And the defense really stepped up. Lamar stepped up. Receivers stepped up.
Remember, didn't even have to crack 200 yards. He just played efficient football. He didn't do the big stats.
Throw that much either. Exactly. Everything came on the ground. And the defense, it was doing what it was doing. And it was laying off the pressure from Lamar, because that's exactly... Lamar's just one of those quarterbacks where, the pressure's getting to them, and he just shanks somehow. And we saw what last season with Purdy, with the Ravens, actually. The pressure gets to him early, and he just can't do anything. We saw in the conference championship against the Chiefs too. Pressure got to him. He did what he could, but he couldn't really withstand all the pressure there. But getting it going against this Bills team this early in the game and just having full control in the second half, I thought it was going to be one of those other choke jobs where they're going to let the Bills come back and just finish it off. But no, they really got it done this time. And the Ravens, they're finally starting to find some rhythm within the whole team.
Yeah, after starting out 0-2, obviously a lot of people writing off. Now the 2-2, they go into Cincinnati. It's gonna be,
a Cincinnati team that just came off a win.
It's their first win, sure, against another struggling team in Carolina. But we see their defense has been struggling, and sure, it was a get-back game last week. But against this high-flying Ravens offense,
like we said, same thing when he was with Tennessee. Once he gets going, it's kind of hard to stop him. So we're gonna have to see how this goes for this Bengals front seven.
Honestly, like you said, when he's on, he's on. Exactly. That's the big difference about him. But I think we can move it into our discussion from you guys, the viewers. We only had one thing to talk about, but Carbs, you came in with a loaded question, so let's get in. Jetta's getting a ring this year.
As much as I love Jetta, as much as we love Jetta's, no.
Let's be honest. I can also be, the Vikings probably will start to flame out a little down the end of the season.
Look, Jetta's, he's gonna have, I'm hoping, depending if he leaves Minnesota, at least one ring. He won't. He's not gonna, but at least one ring we're gonna hope for Jetta's. I know a lot of great receivers, the legends out there that never won a ring. Just like
but obviously that's just for this season. And look, I love, offensive player of the month, Sam Darnold. It's all lining up right now. But once it comes to playoff time, that's when I really want to start seeing it. And I feel like that's probably going to be something, I guess, just when we talk about that. You asked about Caleb Williams' potential. Obviously he looks good when he plays the Rams, right?
But he's gonna, like we said, for me, I tell him it's gonna take the whole year. He's gonna have to ride out the whole year getting adjusted. It's gonna take a couple times. It's gonna take a decent amount of time for him to finally get adjusted and finally reach his potential, how he was in college there. But come on, this is common knowledge. The Bears, they suck at developing quarterbacks. So it's gonna be a little bit harder for him to even develop to his true potential. And with the way the team's built around him. The team was built for him to succeed. And that's the one thing me and you really talked about. DJ Moore.
Well, his weapons are built for him to succeed. That O-line, on the other hand, is a completely different story.
His defense is great. His O-line is chalk, but his receiving core and
that's the problem with this team, because they have everything going for them when you really look at it, except for the O-line.
And the O-line's really been strong. I know we've been shitting on his throwing ability, this and that, which,
Well, because I'm going to say that too, he isn't there yet. I said that in last week's video.
Really, he's running for his life every time. And DeAndre Swift finally got going against you guys, but really, it's just that only that's really the issue there. Like, he's going to develop in a couple years. He's going to be great in a couple years. I know that for sure. He's going to be the guy for the Panthers, for the Bears. It's just got to take some time, and they're going to have to go in O-line heavy if they really want to have a shot in the next years.
As much as I love him, as much as I want to think that, we need more time to really see. I can't just say, he's going to be the guy. I need to see more flashes out of him for now. But, I have hope for him, and I want him to succeed. Now, obviously, we kind of already got through all those Davante trade rumors. I'm sure he would love for him to come back to Green Bay, but that's obviously not going to happen. And about Green Bay, are the Packers going to Super Bowl? I think this week we're gonna see a big difference about that.
I think specifically.
No, I just want to throw that.
I think no. I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying not just this week. I think these next couple stretch of games. Jordan Love coming back from the high ankle sprain, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Was
coming
it,
up.
no, it was an MCL?
MCL.
sprain.
Coming back from his MCL sprain, which recovered pretty quick for him, which I thought he should have.
But that's the
out for
thing.
Vikings game.
Is he fully recovered?
That's-
They're obviously not.
That's what I'm saying.
Last week,
we want to see these next couple games how he's gonna be, and that's really gonna determine it. But I doubt Pac's gonna go.
I mean, the only thing too,
even if he looks good, I don't think Pac is gonna hit the bowl.
Well, yeah, no, the Super Bowl is a bit outlandish, at least in my opinion, for that.
Barely a quarter into the season.
That too, of course, and like, look, I'm only riding with my boys. I really want them to really shut the Packers up in this game, but it's hard to see the way our defense is looking. That's my one.
It could be a love legacy game.
They surprise us against the Niners. Maybe they could surprise us against the Packers. Yeah. But I mean, it's gonna be hard to tell me. I know he's been wanting us to go to that game. Not gonna spend $200 to sit him some nosebleeds at SoFi, but maybe in a couple years we can get something going. But yeah, obviously that's the only one. I mean, need you guys to get onto Instagram, start sending us more things so we can start, getting you guys involved in the conversation. But apart from that, let's get into Thursday night. It's a phenomenal game that we're gonna get into with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. This is, and we'll wait on that just a little bit. This is probably gonna determine who wins this division. In all honesty, I love the Saints and what they've been doing so far, but this is the marquee matchup in this division. To get the picks out of the way, I'm going with the Bucks. Pretty sure you're gonna go with the Bucks as well. So we'll start the week off on a full agreement. And look, to me, this Bucks defense is someone that I was doubting last week. I wasn't expecting them because they were still without Antoine, right? So is Antoine gonna be back this week?
Pretty sure he's back. He's only out for a couple of days, no?
Because I know he missed the game.
That was early on. That was week 1. Or I don't know.
Well, regardless,
we're spazzing out a bit, but still, yeah.
Well, regardless, I'm pretty sure, obviously, having Antoine in the mix, obviously, we saw that last week. Just this defense that I obviously started doubting. I really do expect them to really, hold the Falcons in check. Especially, I was obviously very high on these Falcons weapons.
He isn't playing.
Yeah, because I thought I wasn't tripping. There we go. So
it was a full injury.
Now let me backtrack. So with Antoine even missing last week against Philly, this defense really, stepping up even in his absence. I think we're going to see a lot more of that now. Obviously, like I was saying, the Falcons, they're really picking it up. That offense is really starting to gel together.
The defense is kind of getting a little mixed around too, but
just offensively, as much as they're gelling together, I would have liked to see a lot more out of them against the Saints last week. So going into this one, I think, that little bit of rust, that little bit of, stuff they still need to figure out. I think the Tampa's really going to be able to, exploit that little by little. And
I think even too, with how high powered both these offenses are, I'm still going to give the edge a little bit to Tampa Bay just because, their chemistry is already set with Baker, Rashad.
I think just Baker, being that MVP candidate right now.
And even with the running back core, with Bucky Irving having a lot of flashes, so he's going to have a bigger snap count coming into this game. Even moving forward here, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and I think Trey Palmer too, who's having a little season of his own. The O-line's keeping it up. Like I said, the game against the Broncos, it was a fluke game. They're going to bounce right back, and they did against Philly. Thank God. And, it's really going to show a lot for this Falcons defense. Really, really a lot, especially for both defenses, if I really want to be, objective here. But specifically for this Falcons defense, and like you said, for the division, how they're going to stop Baker coming in. Because once Baker gets gunslinging, it's kind of hard to stop that pass game. The run game is going to be good with Bucky Irvin and Rashad White there. But same with Bijan. If Bijan and Algier, they're going to go through
him. And I would expect him to bounce back.
Yeah.
So obviously that's something we're going to get into just a little bit. But, rough game last week. Still got the win. But, Algier was able to pick up the slack in that. We see that duel. Usually, they complement themselves really well. But in this game, I would expect Bijan to really pick it up himself. And I think, I need to see more out of Kyle Pitts. I know I was really big on him going into this season. It's just...
You have too much hope, bro. Let it go. Put it down, bro.
Eventually it's going to... I don't know. You can't really say too much about him because he's just not really getting used. I know last week it was, 3 targets, no 0 receptions.
Literally nothing. And then Raheem Morris is like, stats for losers.
Not in fantasy, bro. We care about stats. But, look, I do expect him to get more targets. He's going to get used more. It's crazy. You get such a great talent in him and you're not using him, it's going to start to hurt. And if they continue to not use him, that's going to be a reason why they're probably going to end up losing this game and all told. But just overall, I really want to see this Falcons core really be used better because that's what I expected to see once you add Kirk Cousins, add a new head coach.
It's really just Darnell Mooney and Drake London in the receiving end, just really pretty much picking up the pace for all of that.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that covers it overall. But let's get into the parlay. That's obviously the most important thing here.
Yes.
Buccaneers, the road team. So I guess.
So I got a nice 3 legs. So like I said, I've been having my praise for Bucky Irving. Gonna have him go over a 46.5. He's been hitting that. He hit it last week and the week before. So and especially, he's gonna get more carry shares with the Rachaad White. And like I said, he's gonna pick up not a bigger load, but he's gonna get a bigger snap count. So hopefully at least he hits the 50 mark there. And then Mike Evans as well. They're big on the receiving end here. Once Baker gets going, slinging the ball, he's going to look for Mike Evans. Got him going over 60.5. And same with Chris Godwin, except his is 67.5. Still going to hit the over there. This 1-2 duo, going to expect him at least 70, 80 yards for both these guys coming into this game.
Yeah. So, we actually also got our own little one that we got on the side. I'm sure we can throw that in just a little bit.
I'll throw my actual one and then.
So the second half of our 6-legger going into this one, I got Kirk Cousins for the Falcons. I guess I'm the only one going quarterback on this, and he's set at 230 yards. I expect him to go less. Usually, a lot of times with Kirk, he doesn't even need to get to 200 when we, see them have success. But regardless, I'm not expecting too much success out of him. I think he's going to struggle. And I think, like I was saying, this Bucs defense is really going to get to them throughout the game. And I think Kirk's going to struggle. Bijan Robinson, his line is set at 62.5. I see him going over. Like I said, I expect him to have a nice bounce back game after really struggling against the Saints. Not really going to have an effect overall, but I do expect him to, really get back into it. And will this sell us? Kyle Pitts, the line at 29.5. I expect him to at least get 30. It's not going to be a great game for him, so I'm taking the over on him. Don't expect anything phenomenal. Probably 4 or 5 catches that gets him into this type of range. Probably one nice big throw for him, but overall, I don't expect him to be much of a factor. But I would expect him to at least, bounce back after a zero reception, 0 yard game last week.
Being the only pick that sells the whole thing.
I really don't think so, because we've obviously. Yeah. What have we gone
last week going 0
each max? No, last week I think we went 4 for 6, if I'm not mistaken. But
because I know only one of mine didn't hit.
Yeah, and only one of mine did. Because we went 4 for 6. So we got a hit.
Yeah,
we got hit for once.
But $10. But
yeah,
$10 is $10.
Oh, if we're going into this one, $20 bet will get you $420 if we hit. So let's
don't take our advice though.
Obviously, we said not gambling advice, but if you choose to, that's what you would get.
And that's on you, not on us,
of course. So Christian, obviously. Yep. You threw in your own little parlay for this game, so let's get into that.
Obviously, just gonna get it right away. So same thing as our parlay: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Bucky Irving.
And we actually threw real money into this one.
This is an actual one for me. So obviously, what I had for our parlay: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving on the over for theirs. So I'm gonna go for them. This is 6 legs. I'm gonna go Bijan 62.5. I'm gonna go over on this one. He had a pretty shitter last week, but he's gonna bounce back for this coming week. I got Drake London as well, 62.5 yards. I'm gonna go the over, and then Darnell Mooney, who's been the viable receiver too for the Falcons team, 46.5. I'm gonna expect a pretty decent game for Darnell Mooney, especially he is the speedster, kind of gets open in the backfield, not backfield. You get what I mean,
Downfield, yeah.
Downfield, excuse me. I was a little looking for the term there, but he's gonna get downfield with the speed there. So 6 leg, $10 flex play, and it's gonna win for $250. So hopefully, after recent failure and losing money, hoping this hits, and you get to keep $20 for this. So if this hits, you get to keep a little 20 for yourself.
Honestly, as I'm the only one of age to use Prize Picks, we're
3 weeks, man.
A little teamwork going into this one, but
3 weeks.
Hey, let's hope for your sake we actually get this one going. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. I think so quick and concise. Got a little extra in the parlays. Maybe we'll start doing this a little more. But yeah, does it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and come right back. Hopefully we get it out Tuesday morning for the week 5 recap.